It all started with the bathroom. I hadn't realized how much I cared about cleanliness until I started dating seriously. The first time I walked into a guy's apartment, I noticed the typical things: posters on the wall, mismatched furniture, and a distinct lack of decoration. I didn't mind any of that. I wasn't looking for style or sophistication. I was looking for signs that he cared about the space he lived in. But then I went to the bathroom, and everything changed. There was dust on the countertop, toothpaste splatters in the sink, and the toilet seat had stains that I didn't even want to think about. It struck me at that moment: if he couldn't be bothered to keep his bathroom clean, how much did he really care about his life, his health, or even his own comfort? I left that apartment feeling unsettled. It wasn't just about the bathroom, though it had left a lasting impression. It was the larger picture that started forming in my mind. What did it say about someone if they couldn't take care of their living space? It wasn't about perfection, but about effort. A clean bathroom was just the beginning, a marker of something deeper. It reflected a level of self-respect and responsibility that I began to pay closer attention to. After that experience, I became more attuned to the way men kept their homes. It wasn't that I was suddenly shallow or demanding, but I couldn't shake the feeling that a messy, disorganized apartment was a red flag. It wasn't just about cleanliness, it was about care, about pride in one's surroundings. If someone couldn't be bothered to clean their bathroom, what else were they neglecting in their life? Were they equally careless in their relationships, their work, their health? I began dating another guy not long after. His apartment was a stark contrast to the last one. When I first walked in, I immediately noticed how well kept it was. The floors were clean, there wasn't a speck of dust on the furniture, and the kitchen counters gleamed as though they had just been wiped down. His space felt intentional. It wasn't filled with expensive decor or trendy furniture, but it was organized. There were no piles of laundry in the corner, no cluttered surfaces. Still, I couldn't fully relax until I saw the bathroom. It had become the ultimate test, the space that would tell me what I really needed to know. I opened the door with trepidation, bracing myself for disappointment. But as I stepped inside, I was met with a clean, well-maintained space. The toilet was spotless, the sink sparkled, and the mirror was clear of water spots. Even the towels were neatly folded. That small moment in the bathroom told me more than any conversation could. This man cared about his living environment. He wasn't obsessive or overly meticulous, but he clearly took the time to ensure his space was clean and welcoming. It was a sign that he had his life together, that he respected himself and his surroundings. I felt comfortable in his space, and more than that, I felt like I was being welcomed into a life that was stable and cared for. As we continued to date, I began to notice other things about how he approached cleanliness and order. He wasn't the type to let dishes pile up in the sink or leave dirty laundry strewn across the floor. He made time to clean regularly, and it wasn't something he did just for me. It was clear that this was his way of living: tidy, organized, thoughtful. It wasn't about impressing anyone, it was about maintaining a space where he felt comfortable and at ease. In the past, I had dated men who only cleaned when they knew I was coming over. The rush to tidy up at the last minute, to shove dirty clothes into a closet or quickly wipe down the counters, felt performative. It was like they were trying to project an image of someone who had it together, but it never lasted. Once I spent more time with them, the illusion faded, and I would find myself surrounded by the mess they had been trying to hide. But this man was different. His cleanliness wasn't a facade, it was a reflection of how he chose to live his life. And that made all the difference. I didn't have to worry about being blindsided by a disaster of a bathroom or an unkempt kitchen. I knew that he would take care of his space, just as he took care of himself. As time passed, I realized that cleanliness wasn't just about hygiene or aesthetics. It was about respect for oneself, for one's home, and for others. When someone keeps their living space clean, it shows that they value their environment. It shows that they care enough to put in the effort, even when no one is watching. It's a small but significant gesture that speaks volumes about a person's character. That relationship didn't last, but the lesson stayed with me. After we broke up, I started thinking more about the connection between cleanliness and relationships. I began to see how a lack of care in one's living space could be indicative of a larger issue. It wasn't just about a dirty bathroom or a cluttered kitchen, it was about whether someone was willing to take responsibility for their life. I went on a few more dates after that, and the state of a man's apartment became one of the first things I noticed. It wasn't that I was being judgmental, but I couldn't help but make the connection. A clean apartment was a green flag, a sign that he was capable of taking care of himself. And in the long run, that's what I was looking for, someone who could manage their own life, someone who wouldn't expect me to pick up the slack. As I continued my dating journey, I found myself paying attention to the little details that I might have overlooked before. The way a man organized his closet, how he maintained his car, even the state of his refrigerator, all these things became indicators of his overall approach to life. It wasn't about finding perfection, it was about finding someone who valued order and cleanliness as much as I did. I realized that my preference for cleanliness wasn't just about aesthetics or even hygiene. It was about compatibility on a deeper level. Someone who takes pride in their living space is likely to approach other aspects of their life with the same care and attention to detail. They're more likely to be reliable, to follow through on commitments, and to take responsibility for their actions. This realization helped me refine my dating criteria. I wasn't looking for a neat freak or someone obsessed with cleanliness, but I was looking for a partner who understood the importance of maintaining a comfortable and hygienic living environment. It became a non-negotiable aspect of my potential relationships. As I reflected on my past experiences, I began to see patterns. The men who kept clean homes tended to be more organized in other areas of their lives. They were often more punctual, more considerate, and more attentive to my needs. On the other hand, those with messy apartments often struggled with time management, forgot important dates, and seemed less invested in the relationship overall. Of course, I knew that judging someone solely on the state of their bathroom wasn't fair. People have different priorities, and a messy home doesn't necessarily indicate a flawed character. But for me, it had become an important factor in assessing compatibility. I wanted a partner who shared my values when it came to creating a comfortable and well-maintained living space. As I continued to date, I found myself having more open conversations about cleanliness and household responsibilities. I was upfront about my expectations and my own habits. This honesty led to more meaningful connections and helped weed out potential partners who didn't share my values. In the end, my journey through the world of dating and bathrooms taught me a lot about myself and what I truly valued in a relationship. It wasn't just about finding someone who kept a clean home, it was about finding someone who approached life with care, responsibility, and respect for their environment and themselves. Today, as I continue my search for the right partner, I carry these lessons with me. A clean bathroom might seem like a small detail in the grand scheme of things, but for me, it's become a symbol of something much larger, a reflection of character, responsibility, and shared values. And in the complex world of dating, sometimes it's these small details that make all the difference.